There's this theory that claims that there are people that walk on our earth in this generation who carry a divine bloodline to rule the entire world. See, there's this thing called the Sumerian Kings List, which has a record of all the different kings that ruled the ancient Sumeria and all the bloodlines of the families that have inherited something known as the divine blood. And in other words, it's the Nephilims that are mentioned in the Bible that have been ruling this world before we humans did. And these kings were literally seen as gods on the earth. And anyone that lives today that are linked to this ancient list, where these 13 families are supposed to be a direct descendants of these Nephilims or the ancient gods. And currently there are 13 families who hold this unnatural superpowers in our world in this current generation. And they are said to have been inherited from the bloodline of the Nephilims. And they possess unnatural power in politics, banking systems, media, and they shape the entire world from the shadows. And all while they're preserving their divine bloodlines. And it seems like this divine bloodline is being carried on by some divine beings in the ancient civilization named the Nephilims. Now, the Bible already states that Nephilims are known to be the giants that were created by the fallen angels who slept with human women, and they bore children who were half angels and half humans. So they apparently possessed many different kinds of supernatural intelligence about life and this planet Earth. And there's this book named Illuminati Bloodline, which was written by Fritz Springmeier. And inside this book, we have 13 families that seems to have carrying the divine bloodlines of the ancient civilization called the Nephilims. And according to the theory, some people say that they are the organization called the Illuminati, the ones that work in the shadows and control the entire world according to the agenda that they want humankind to follow. Let's go ahead and take a look at all the 13 families who, according to the theory, seem to be having the bloodline of those known as the Nephilims. Now, starting off with the first family known as the Rothschild. Now, they are one of the most wealthiest families out there who have a net worth of over $2 trillion, and they have been building their wealth in banking and investment throughout the entire Europe. Now, the Rothschild family is said to be controlling almost everything that goes on related to investments, money, banking, Wall Streets, and basically how you use your money could possibly be controlled by these big giants. Now, the second family are the Rockefellers, who have a net worth of over $500 billion to $1 trillion. And they've made their fortune in the oil industry. And the Rockefellers also seem to be having a huge influence in terms of how the oil supplies work around the world. Now, the third family we have are the Astor, who specifically built their wealth using the real estate investments all over New York City. Now, the Astor family have a net worth of about $100 billion to $300 billion. And the next family is the Bundy family. Now, the Bundy family made their wealth in meat packing industry. They've been one of the leading families that produce massive.
Hold on, these niggas have
$100 billion.
What's their names?
They built their wealth using the world. Now, the third family we have dollar, and they.
Damn, I missed all the families. Hold on.
One of the most wealthiest families out there who have a net worth of over $2 trillion, and they have been building their wealth in banking and investment.
Who? I was not paying attention, my bad.
The bloodline of those known as the Nephilims. And starting off with the first family known as the Rothschild. They are one of the most wealthiest families out there who have a net worth of over $2 trillion, and they have been building their wealth in banking and investment throughout the entire Europe. Now, the Rothschild family is said to be controlling almost everything that goes on related to investments, money, banking, Wall Streets, and basically how you use your money could possibly be controlled by these big giants. Now, the second family are the Rockefellers, who have a net worth of over $500 billion to $1 trillion. And they've made their fortune in the oil industry. And the Rockefellers also seem to be having a huge influence in terms of how the oil supplies work around the world. Now, the third family we have are the Astor, who specifically built their wealth using the real estate investments all over New York City. Now, the Astor family have a net worth of about $100 billion to $300 billion. And the next family is the Bundy family. Now, the Bundy family made their wealth in meat packing industry. They've been one of the leading families that produce massive scale of meat throughout the entire Europe as well as America for many generations. Now, we don't exactly know the net worth of the Bundy family, they are said to be somewhere around in billions of dollars. Now, the fifth family we have are the Cullens, who are said to have a net worth of about $200 million to $2 billion. Now, the net worth, of course, depends on which specific Cullen family there is, because there has been various branches of the same Cullen family, one who is tied to the real estate and the other one is tied to the oil business. And they are one of the most wealthiest families out there. And the sixth family are the DuPont. Now, this family in particular, now the DuPont family are very well known in order to producing pharmaceutical chemicals as well as chemicals that we usually use in the food industry. And they control everything that goes on in the chemical industry around the world. Now, the DuPont family's net worth is said to be around $14 billion, all from just manufacturing the chemical business. Also, it is said that the family also runs some sort of a secret business that we don't exactly know what those are. Now, the seventh family is called Freeman. Now, this family built their fortune through the retail and investment industries. And the Freemans are estimated to be around $2 billion in net worth, which primarily comes from the retail and business ventures. And the eighth family are the Kennedys. And the Kennedys are very well known throughout the world because they are known to be one of the most wealthiest families in the entire world. And the Kennedys basically built their wealth using the liquor business and real estate, and obviously all the political influence that they've been having for all of these generations. The Kennedys are said to have a net worth of about $1.5 billion to $2 billion. So it is also said that the Kennedys have their wealth which is being spread out among multiple different generations within their family. Now, the ninth one are the Lee family. Now, the Lee family are known to be the wealthiest family which originated from the lands and plantations that they inherited from their ancestors. And they are said to have about $200 to $500 million in net worth. And the Lee family makes their money based off the agricultural wealth, and the estimated net worth of the Lee family is said to be somewhere around $200 million to $500 million. And the 10th family are the Onassis. Now, the Onassis family are the ones that founded the shipping empire that amases significant wealth that the entire family has been building for generations. Now, the Onassis family is said to have a net worth of about $500 million to $1 billion. And the 11th family are the Reynolds, who are estimated to have $100 billion of net worth. Now, the Reynolds family are very well known when it comes to their tobacco business because they got all of their wealth built from the tobacco business by selling and manufacturing tobaccos that has been famous all across America, Europe, and the entire world. And the 12th family are the Russells. They are known to have an estimation of about $1 billion in net worth. Now, the Russell family are known to control the railroads and shipping business throughout the world. Now, the 13th family are the Van Dwins. Now, they have an estimated net worth of about $1 billion. And this is a family that's been controlling banking and finance system throughout the entire world for many generations. Now, amongst all the 13 families that we have seen so far, it seems like the Lee family are said to be one of the longest lasting families in our history. Because some of the history says that the Lee family come all the way from the Tang dynasty, and some of the latest research also proves that the Lee family also existed during the Babylon period. And these families usually do this incest marriage because they think that they can preserve their bloodline by marrying their own brothers or sisters, because they believe that their bloodline might become impure if they marry another person from a completely different bloodline. And the reason why they do this is that these families are said to be believing that their family bloodline are supposed to be descendant of some sort of a divine being that existed many generations ago. And the Bible also talks about this in Genesis chapter 6 verse 4, where in the Bible it mentions that before we humans existed, there were also these giant creatures that existed. And these are the words of the Bible where it says that there were giants in the earth in those days. And also after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bore children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. The Bible specifically mentions about the giants, who are also known as the Nephilims. The term giants is often translated from the Hebrew word Nephilim. So according to the ancient scriptures, are usually understood as these beings who are of greater size and strength, and sometimes they're also thought to be a hybrid of humans and angels that have been fallen from heaven. And these are the beings that were not created by God, but they were created by the fallen angels. So God considers these beings as an abomination that was committed on earth by the these fallen angels. And if you go all the way back to 1400 BC, there's also a chapter in the Bible named Exodus, where Moses, who's the founding father of Jews, Muslims, and Christians and most of the religions around the world, he was leading the Israelites from being slaves in Egypt all the way to their promised land named Canaan. And when they reached Canaan, there is a civilization that already lives in this place. And the Bible also describes about this civilization. And in the Old Testament of Bible, in Numbers chapter 13, verse 33, you'll see this scripture which mentions on what the Israelites saw when they reached Canaan. And there we saw the giants, the son of Enoch, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight of grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. In this verse, it mentions that Moses sent out some of the Israelite spies to go ahead and take a look at the civilization that's already been living and ruling in Canaan. And when these spies returned back to Moses, they mentioned that they got to see this massive humans that lived in there, and they were very strong compared to any average humans, are known as the Nephilims, or the giants, who were extremely powerful compared to us human beings. And back in those times, they were known to be some sort of a divine bloodline because they have a hybrid mixture of being half human and half angels. And one of those were the pharaohs of Egypt, who believed that he's a god himself, who believed that they need to marry their own daughters and sons and mothers and sisters in order to preserve their own bloodline. So they have been doing all sorts of incest marriage for all these generations. And it was not just the Egyptians and the pharaohs, it was also said to be the same with the Babylonian kings, the Sumerian kings, and also the Chinese dynasties. They all thought that they had some sort of a supernatural being's bloodline that makes them very special, and they believed that their bloodline is so special that they are the ones that are set to be ruling the entire world. And that's also something that's been happening for all of these years and generations to come. Now, if you look at the current generation, you will also see a family that claims that they are of the bloodline of Jesus Christ, who are none other than the elite European aristocracies known as the King Charles families, and they strongly believe that they possess some sort of a bloodline that's related to Jesus Christ himself, the all-time God, and they actually believe that this makes them very divine and special, and they're the ones that are born to rule the entire Europe. And if you actually take a look at all of these different elites that think that they are part of this elite bloodlines that are straight descendants of the Nephilims and giants, all of these elite families, I don't know for whatever reason, maybe it's just me, it seems like all of them look very different from an average human being. One is either they're extremely tall or their facial structures, it looks completely weird and different from any of us human beings. And one thing that all of these families have in common, that they are extremely intelligent. Some might even say that they are supernaturally intelligent in terms of knowing how to manipulate and control the entire world and dominate and govern using the money and power that they possess. Now, these elite families are also the ones that are known to have some sort of a supernatural wisdom, and they also carry out these satanic worships that is usually run between Hollywood and most of the famous leaders and people in power. They're always usually known to be rejecting God and worshiping Satan. Now, that of course doesn't mean that everybody in this family bloodline are going to be worshiping Satan. It's of course only exclusive, and those who currently possess extreme amount of wealth and power, and they've been ruling this entire underworld. Now, of course, these are all just conspiracy theories, and all of these theories are coming from the Fritz Springmeier's book. Now, there's also this crazy theory, and something that we usually do look at in our current generation. But as you know, United States is known to be one of the most powerful countries in the world, and they have one of the highest influence around the entire world in terms of social media, in terms of how business world works, in terms of how the dollar currency is known to be one of the main representative currencies, which is being used all over the world for trading. So it seems like most of these elite groups have been controlling somewhere around the United States. And you look at all the 33 presidents of the United States, the people who have been in power for all of these generations, all of them are part of these 13 elite families that we have just listed in this video. Because first off, if you take a look at the Clintons, who have already been in the power of presidents, they're said to be directly related to the Ford family, and the Ford family are related to the Bush family, and the Bush family is related to another elite family known as the Cheney, that they possess some sort of a divine bloodline. And guess who the Cheney family is related to? Well, that's none other than Barack Obama himself. But this theory is actually so freaking crazy because right now it seems like Donald Trump becoming a president kind of just broke this entire chain, and the world is moving in a completely different direction that they never wanted it to run this way. So it seems like future is definitely going to tell us on what crazy stuff is going to be happening. Maybe it's time that we will finally get to know who the Antichrist is in the coming days, because all the prophecies have been coming true, and I just can't wait to see what's going to happen in the future.